the Sports Betting Network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Tuesday morning to you. Is it Tuesday? No, it's Wednesday. No, it was Tuesday.
Oh,
I was
boy,
right the
it's
first
Tuesday,
time.
yep.
Yes, good Tuesday morning to you. It is a numbers game right here. VSiN, the Sports Betting Network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeart, Radio, VSiN.com. I already said that one. YouTube TV, Sirius XM Channel 158. However you're taking us in, we appreciate it. I'm off to a flying start this morning.
Let's just start over. Rewind the clock, 45 seconds.
Okay. Gil Alexander, Kelly Bidlin on the show today. Mark Borchard talking Major League Baseball with us. Tyler Shoemaker with some WNBA. How about that?
That's right.
It's got to be June.
We'll ask him if there's any middle schoolers he's dunked on recently or anything like that.
That's right.
I did not get any dunking videos.
I see a dunk video from him. You know. Drew Dinsick will join us hour number 2 from the Deep Dive and Bet the Edge podcast. We'll talk NBA with him. Looking forward. See how he did with OKC. Obviously, we know he did well, but we'll look at NBA moving forward. We did have another trade yesterday, which we'll talk about. And tennis. Does he have any more grass court tennis today? And then Tim Lawson, the host of the Better Life podcast, our buddy Tim Lawson and Megapod historian, will come in and wants to talk about a little bit about soccer. He's in town, so we said, let's have Tim in. He wants to talk about betting international soccer and Rec Plus bettors. Ready for this, Kelly? Trusting AP slots too much. Trusting Advantage Play slots too much.
Ooh, love it. All right. Looking forward to that.
Talk with Tim about that coming up on the show.
Tim Lawson, always a great chat. And we don't get to have him in town very often.
Always. And a guy who really sort of isolated the fact that there are sports bettors, there are casino bettors, and then there's this group in the middle that isn't really quite served, which is the Rec Plus bettor. Recreational Plus. So Tim did a great job with that. We'll have him in a little later on. Derek Stevens is behind us in the sports book, but hey, sorry, we're booked.
I am very confused. There's a lot going on behind us today.
If Derek walks in and we're like, sorry, Derek, Tyler Shoemaker in the WNBA. Sorry, can't have you in here. All right, a few things yesterday. One, let's just start with this. NBA draft less than 48 hours away. Now, this is not Kelly and I originating golf or tennis. This is a draft like with the NFL. What we're doing in the NFL is a much more robust thing, but it is essentially culling together experts' intel. It's an information-based thing. This is not a handicapping thing, obviously. With the NBA draft, it is that distilled to a very simple, there's first of all, not nearly as much available on these betting-wise, but we have just a couple voices that we necessarily listen to on this. So I've just added, I have a few bets. Kelly has a few more than I do. I've got Con Kneppel, top 5 pick at even money. I did add him to go exactly 4th at plus 150. You even alluded to this yesterday when you said it's probably either 4th or nothing in the top 5, and that seems to be corroborated by some of the experts.
I bet it as well. You got a much better number than I did, Gil, because I saw that starting to crash yesterday afternoon.
Oh, it was a varied price. I saw plus 150 all the way to minus 130 offshore at Bookmaker on that. And then Noah Senga, the Frenchman, over 9.5. Again, I'm laying some juice there at minus 161, but that's based on the intel of the experts. Again, this is nothing that we have researched with great depth, besides hearing a few people and saying, well, I think this is a thing and I think this is a bet. So those are my only 3. You?
Yeah, I've got a fair amount, and yeah, like you said, I think that was well said. There is this is even very different for the NFL draft for me, because this is a lot more tailing people I respect. As if you watched the show yesterday, there's guys like Rafael Barlow who are spending the entire season just watching, getting ready for the NBA draft, and not doing anything with college basketball or NBA per se. So,
and by the way, we should mention the names: Luke Swain, Vegas Refund, Chris Felica, our buddy, all on sort of inside tracks on this stuff.
Yeah, so a lot of this stuff really coming from them, and then some of my own insight as well, but not nearly as much as what we do with the NFL draft. It feels like. So, Con Kneppel did top 5 even money. I added a little bit to that yesterday at minus 150, but then also bet 4th. For him to be the 4th pick at even money. Like we were talking about, Gil got a better number, but that was crashing pretty quick yesterday. This one, Jeremiah Fears going 5th. This was one I talked to Zach Cohen a bit about. I know he brought it up yesterday on VSiN Primetime. This was one I was kind of leaning towards with the Jazz possibly making a play at the point guard position. I think is really live. So over 3-1. I think that one's still up in the air a little bit. I'm okay with some of these picks 3 through 8, Gil, making a little bit more of a longer shot play on, because I think if there's one change we don't see coming, then all of a sudden these dogs are a little bit more live. So played him 5th pick, plus 350. Cedric Coward, top 10 pick, 4-1. Derek Queen over 10.5. I probably would not play that now. That was one of my first bets. There has been, since the Kevin Durant trade, though, there's been a lot of linking with Queen to Phoenix. So that's probably one I would avoid now. Carter Bryant under 11.5 and Colin Murray Boyles under 14.5. So in on all of those. That Murray Boyles one seems to be picking up a lot of steam here recently.
And we've had a strange relationship with these draft props in Vegas because they go up at a couple shops, and then just as quickly as they're up, they're down.
Yeah, I got so excited yesterday when I saw a bunch of draft positions posted at MGM, and then it was hours later. Oh, they're gone. See ya. And then what, tonight? I mean, they still have the 24-hour rule in effect, right? Because that's a
Vegas,
Nevada thing.
The Nevada 24-hour rule, right there. They have to be taken down by we used to think it was midnight, but it's 24 hours. So by 5 p.m. today.
Right. So this is probably all of our bets, or all of mine. It's probably all of my bets.
Yeah. Drew Dinsick will have some more to talk about on this.
Yeah, he's got
on
thoughts,
the show.
I know. Yep.
He's got thoughts. As we try to be as thorough with this as possible, because we've had on a few people now talking NBA draft, but again, not quite the NFL draft. But Drew, a little later on, talking about his plays. I've tried to resist talking about AL MVP, but after what happened yesterday, I can't really resist it quite anymore because I think it's worth a brief discussion. Cal Raleigh of the Mariners with 2 more homers yesterday.
Let's go.
Not 1, 2. Jason Weingarten immediately texted me. He goes, he's in Bonds territory. I said, easy, buddy. Easy.
This was one where we were like, dude, what are we doing? Are we sure last week? And I brought up AL MVP, and I'm sitting there kind of looking at some of the numbers, and I'm like, this Cal Raleigh character is really climbing up towards Judge.
Well, let me just sort of put it in context. So when you go to things like a slash line, right, your average, your OBP, and your slugging percentage, Aaron Judge is still dwarfing Cal Raleigh in this department. Right now, Judge, 367 batting average, 468 OBP, 734 slugging. Cal Raleigh, 278 against Judge's 367 batting average, 383 OBP against Judge's 468, and a 665 slugging percentage against Aaron Judge's 734. So not particularly close in any of those categories. Right now, Aaron Judge minus 2,000 to win American League MVP. Cal Raleigh at plus 550. Everybody else, starting with Bobby Witt Jr., 80-1 or longer. But here's the thing. Cal Raleigh hit his 31st and 32nd home runs of the season yesterday. He's got 68 RBI. Both of those are better than Judge's 28 and 62. And so the question then becomes, can Cal Raleigh get to a point in the homers department and the RBI, but let's just say the homers specifically, because that's I don't know if you know this, Kelly, not only do chicks love the long ball, but so do voters, perhaps, love the long ball. So at what point does this actually become a thing? In other words, is it worth you betting Cal Raleigh even at 5-1, even though you could have gotten him at better, obviously, before today? And I'm not sure that it is, because you have to ask yourself, what's the number? What is the number? If he hits 65 of these, is that enough? Well, probably. Yeah. But Aaron Judge plays for the Yankees. They lead the division. I know it's teetering. It's only a 2-game lead. Cal Raleigh and the Mariners, 4.5, I think it is, behind the Astros now. They're in a wild card scrum. Would that factor into a voter's decision? But right now, Cal Raleigh, let's actually take the Bonzian thing that Weingarten said. So they played 77 games. He's at 32 homers. So if he hits 4 in the next 4 games, he would have 36 halfway through the season, and that would actually be Bonzian when it comes to the record of 73. That would obviously pace out to 72. But Cal Raleigh's his run here, right, past 30 games, he's hitting 331 batting average, 17 homers in the last 30 games, 36 RBI. And as we mentioned for the season, Not quite those numbers, but he does lead in homers, RBI. So anyway, is 5-1 worth a play on Cal Raleigh? I'm not as bullish as some people. Because I know we live in a betting world where everybody races the latest thing they've seen to jump on a number. Is it realistic in the end? Well, all it would take is a cold streak for this whole conversation to go away.
And I mean, well laid out by you. It looks like, I mean, for me, the not the biggest baseball guy, right? Like you just said, it's just going to come down. Like he'd have to overwhelm him with home runs, right? Like
yes.
We'd have to be in the 60s with Raleigh. And we're talking about Judge being at 50 or something
Correct.
like that.
Yes, I agree. What it does make me think, though, is, all right, well, is Shohei really that safe in the NL? That's the one where I think there's a bet somewhere, which I said last time we did this.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said he wasn't completely safe.
Yeah, because I don't know what kind of pitching season he's going to have, and then if that's not a factor, will voters use that as, well, we're going to give it to him every other year, so let's use this one not to give it to him.
We didn't get time to talk about that more last week. I'm still so in that camp. Like, just seeing, especially betting awards and how much we talk about it, especially over the past few years.
Yeah.
Man, these voters will. It just feels like they look for excuses like that, right? Like, oh, let's look for an excuse to give it to somebody else this year because we know this is going to happen, even though nothing's promised.
Well, even broader than that, I think what we've learned is we're way too, dare I call us sophisticated? You understand what I'm saying, though. We're way too in the weeds.
Yeah.
We really are. And most of these voters, yes, is there an analytics representation in all the sports? There is. But is it predominant in the voting pool? It really doesn't seem to be. Whether it's baseball, sadly, or the National Football League. Mm-hmm. And again, the Spencer Strider thing, and I know he blew up late in the season multiple times, so it wasn't a thing after all. But he wasn't even a finalist in the end, right?
This will be fun to watch, though.
Yeah, it will be.
Let's go Mariners. Go Cal Raleigh. I watched some of that game last night.
Cal, short for?
I have no idea.
Caleb.
Obviously.
As opposed to Cal Ripken, which I think was like a Calvert, I believe was his name, something like that.
Not Calvin?
I think it's Calvert.
I
don't know. Check that out for me. Let's do some research. We'll do a numbers game investigation over the break. Coming back with an NBA trade and more next.
As sports fans, we may cheer for different teams, but there's one thing that we can all agree on. We want the game to be big. And with 3 levels, 30 cabanas, a 143-foot screen, 6 clean pools, and endless cold drinks, it doesn't get any bigger or any better than Stadium Swim in Las Vegas. All sports, all seasons, it's more than a pool deck. Stadium Swim is the only thing like it in the world.
So, Paulie, have you had a chance to read the VSiN Daily yet?
Yeah. Came in at 3 a.m. What's Bill doing up that late?
Well, rumor has it, it starts off with a 12-hour meditation session.
Then he just pours himself over film and live TV, really focusing and taking it all in. Bill's in with the biggest insiders, talking trade secrets, strategies, the whole nine, absorbing the info.
And then and only then can the writing process begin.
In Las Vegas, Bill's late night becomes your early morning. Wake up to the very latest betting insights in your inbox with the VSiN Daily. Sign up for free at vsin.com/newsletter.
On the next edition of Make It Rain with Adam Shine, VSiN writer and betting analyst Zach Cohen will join the show to share his thoughts and insights on the Thunder winning the NBA Finals. Kevin Durant's getting traded to the Rockets as well. Zach will also give out his best bets for the 2025 NBA Draft and mix in some tennis bets as well. Plus, my favorite plays for a very busy Tuesday night in Major League Baseball. Tune in to Tuesday's edition of Make It Rain with Adam Shine, 3 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Back on a numbers game, live from Circa. Gil Alexander, Kelly Midland, everybody. Kelly Baidalan. We get tweets at Beat of the Book. Real Knicks. I wish the other three major sports leagues would realize the NFL has cornered the market on draft coverage. Who in the hell, he says, I want to get that right, who in the hell needs 2 nights of NBA draft coverage when after pick 25, only about 10% of the names are recognizable? Real Knicks, we've said the same thing here. We've said the same thing.
I'm not fighting you on it.
No,
I'm not fighting. 10% are recognizable, and 10% will make it 3 years into the NBA.
The fact that they think they need a second night for the second round is, it's brutal. And Brian,
does it say more about, I don't know, the arrogance of a sport or that there's just nothing going on?
A little both.
Yeah, I think it's a little both.
Brian Schaefer, why not put a unit on Cal Raleigh? By the way, Cal Ripken was Calvin, I'm told. Why not put a unit on Cal Raleigh to win MVP? Judge has a foot injury that he plays through. I know you can't assume injury, but with 5-1 odds, it only takes an injury to shift those odds. Also true, right? Could it happen? Yeah. But I wanted to talk about it just because I hear everybody at the same time. Once he hit the second homer last night, everyone's like, oh my God, Cal Raleigh MVP. It's like, okay, let's actually look at the numbers. Can I just talk about something non-sports betting before we get to the NBA stuff?
Yeah. I'm going to root for Cal, though, because I got my no bet on Aaron Judge Triple Crown. Remember that from a month ago?
Yeah, the Triple Crown looks a little doubtful now. Yeah.
Let's go Cal.
That's going to be tough for him. Down 4 in homers, down 6 in ribbies. Yankees played one more game than the Mariners have. Okay, I don't know why this story fascinates me so much, Kelly. I kind of do, but it has nothing to do with betting. Well, it does have something to do with betting. Are you familiar with this guy that used to be on Daily Wager on ESPN? Michael Schweimer? I'm not sure how you pronounce his name. He was on for like a minute. No. He was on for a few months. I remember there being something on gambling Twitter where like his handicapping proclamations, of course, exceeded his actual performance. And so people, the police folks of gambling Twitter went after him, correctly, by the way.
You're telling me people lie on gambling Twitter?
I know, right? So this guy, I'll go with Michael Schwimmer as the pronunciation. By the way, he was a ball player. He played for the Phillies for a bit. He had a cup of coffee with the Phillies. Then he went to Daily Wager at ESPN. And after Daily Wager, he ended up starting this organization called, you ready for this now? This organization called Big League Advance. And they had a Big League Advance fund of hundreds of millions of dollars.
Big League Advantage, it looks like.
Big League Big League Advantage, but the fund was called the Big League Advance Fund.
Gotcha.
Correct. Big League Advantage, Big League Advance Fund, BLA. And what this company did was they lent money to ball players, up-and-coming minor league ball players or disadvantaged ball players that didn't have a lot of money, and essentially made a deal. Hey, we'll give you this money up front for your expenses now when you need the money. But the deal is that we then get a percentage of all of your future earnings if you hit it big in MLB. And so, Ellie De La Cruz of the Reds is part of this. He has to give a percentage of his career earnings to Big League Advance. This is what Schwimmer started.
Isn't this something like agents have been doing in the Caribbean and stuff forever, though?
Well, this was done a little differently. So basically, let me get to the point here. But by the way, Fernando Tatis Jr. is part of this as well, which I don't really understand because his dad played big league ball. Fernando Tatis Sr., famously hitting 4 homers in a game. Anyway, I was wondering all these years, I was like, wow, it feels, legally is one thing, it feels a little creepy to me. It has always felt a little creepy to me because it does feel like you're taking advantage, right? But someone could say, well, but they're also providing a service, right? There's two sides to there's two opinions on this.
Sure.
So finally yesterday, Fernando Tatis Jr. has filed a complaint. He is going to sue BLA, Big League Advantage, for, ready for this, exploitative predatory business practices which shamelessly push illegal loans on young, vulnerable athletes, most from economically disadvantaged Latin American countries, unquote, according to the press release. Tatis has a 14-year, $340 million deal with the Padres that he signed in 2021, and he, according to BLA, has to give them 8 to 10%. I'm not sure. The reporting is somewhere between 8 to 10% of that lifetime. So finally, he has come and said, I'm not doing this anymore. So it's fascinating to me only because which side do you fall on? Is Tatis's suit in fact correct? That because he used the word that it's a loan, but it's really not a loan. He's saying it's an illegal loan, pushing illegal loans on young, vulnerable athletes. But it's not really a loan, because a loan is no matter how much I give you, Kelly Bidlin, when you're starting your career, even if you don't make it, you have to pay back your loan. That's not what they're doing.
Yeah.
If you don't make the major leagues, you don't owe them a penny after that. They gave you the money, that's it. So they are essentially operating like a venture capitalist does in Silicon Valley, which is for every Google and Skype or eBay that they invest in successfully, there's also hundreds of companies that fail. So they're just hoping the winners overcome the losers. It's all mathematics for them. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how this ends up getting adjudicated.
That's fascinating. That is fascinating.
Yeah.
It is. I mean, I feel like we've heard about backroom deals like this stuff going on forever in sports, but like when you have a company that's upfront about it, you'd like to think things are on the up and up. So
I'm curious what listeners think, because to me there are two sides to this.
Yeah.
Like I get it. It feels unseemly, but alone it is not. Technically. So I don't know. We'll see. This deal was done out in the open. Another NBA deal yesterday. Drew Holiday goes back to the Blazers. Remember, he was part of the Dame Lillard take.
That's right.
When Dame went from Portland to Milwaukee, Drew goes to the Blazers for Anthony Simon. And this makes, to me, Kelly, from a Celtics standpoint, makes all the sense in the world, because the Celtics end up unloading a whole bunch of salary. Holiday was owed $72 million in 2026, 27, and 27, 28. The deal saves Boston $40 million in luxury tax payments next season, and that's according to ESPN's Bobby Marks. And the Celtics get way younger by almost a decade when they go from Drew to Simons, and Simons will be eligible for an extension at some point, especially in a year where you're not going to have Jason Tatum. And there's other injuries now, clearly, all throughout the Eastern Conference. This perhaps makes the Celtics that much more relevant. I get it. I have no idea what the Blazers are doing. Please explain that to me.
I really wish I could, Gil. This was one.
And Boston also gets 2 second-round picks, I should add.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Somehow they're getting draft compensation as well. Look, this is it's great. Look, the Boston Celtics were going to have to make major salary moves, and they're not done. Like, there are going to be several more moves likely made by the Boston Celtics to reshape this team to both cut salary, but also to try to stay competitive, right? And this is the perfect move for that, right? You get Simons in here. Look, the other part about this, Drew Holiday still had like 4 years left on his contract. You're paying him big-time money. So you ship him out to Portland, and he's making way more on Simons. Simons only has 1 year left on his deal. So you can reassess later in this season even, is this a long-term play for us or not with Simons? And if it's just a kind of stopgap play for while Tatum's out, while you reshuffle this roster, I think it's a great move by Boston. It sounds like Porzingis could very well be on his way out too, possibly.
Yeah.
Watch that for the next couple days. Gil, I was left scratching my head too at the Portland side of things. Yeah. I mean, look, they have some great defenders now on this team. For people that didn't watch the Blazers last year, Toumani Camara has turned into one of the top perimeter defenders in the NBA. A young guy that they were able to get in a bunch of the trades that they made. Donovan Clingan, you may remember, coming in there last year, playing well defensively. Now you add Drew Holiday. There's a lot of nice defensive pieces, but Gil, you were asking the same question when we were talking about the Durant trade yesterday of where does this really put you in the pecking order of the Western Conference? And now you are significantly financially obligated to pay Drew Holiday. And what this puts you in the play-in situation?
I don't know what they're doing. The last thing you do is take on money, and that's what they've done here. And then they could say, Drew will mentor Scoot, and they could say all that they want to, but it's like, come on, what are we doing here?
And you could argue that between Scoot and Shaedon Sharpe and Simons, there's too many young guys in the backcourt that you needed to get playing time for, but still. I don't know that justifies adding the salary of Drew Holiday.
And you didn't even mention Denny Avdia.
That's right.
Blatant anti-Semitism, ladies and gentlemen. Right in front of me.
I'm sure Wyatt's going nuts in the back, too. Like, I love Drew Holiday, but Drew Holiday is also not the same player. We saw that very evidently this year. He is not the same guy that he was just 2 years ago, 4 years ago in the NBA.
The real question is, does it make you want to bet the Celtics now?
No, but it makes me have my eyes on them a lot more here for what's going to happen in the next few weeks. So there are teams, like the Oklahoma City Thunder, very well might not make a single move this offseason, right? Like they could very well be running back the exact same roster next season. There are teams, though, like the Boston Celtics and others, that are going to be extremely active here over the next couple weeks. I know we're running a little short on time here, but the Lakers and Nuggets are maybe two of the most fascinating teams out west for me to watch, because what are you going to do in Denver to put more weapons around Nikola Jokic? Can you do anything? And the Lakers, we know what the Luka Doncic formula is. He needs a rim protector and a lob threat, and he needs three-point help. Go out there and get it for him.
We'll talk more about it. Didn't mean to run you into a wall.
No, you're fine.
Coming back, also some baseball with Mark Borchard, some WNBA with Tyler Shoemaker. It's a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
And they're off.
Right now, you can get an entire year of VSiN Pro for just $1.99. Plus, we'll throw in a free pre-order of VSiN's own Josh Applebaum's new book, The NFL Sharp Betting Playbook. That's 12 months of expert picks, exclusive betting splits, and access to the upcoming NFL betting guide. Applebaum's new book is the ultimate resource for bettors looking to understand line movement, spot sharp action, and make smarter, data-driven decisions all season long. Sign up now at VSiN.com/subscribe and use promo code BOOK to get in on this offer and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Oh, Kelly, you got to listen to this. Time is running out. Enter to win a free entry into the Circa Survivor or Circa Million contest proxy service included, with $21 million in guaranteed prizes up for grabs. Let me say that again. Enter to win a free entry into Circa Survivor or Circa Million contest proxy service included, $21 million guaranteed prizes. Deadline to enter tomorrow, Wednesday, June 25th, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. All right, so West Coasters, 8:59 p.m. tomorrow, deadline. Winners will be announced live this Friday. Where? On a numbers game.
Right here on a numbers game.
That's with Gil Alexander, it says here. And they'll get exclusive strategy access to Gil all season long. Hey, wait a minute.
That's fantastic.
All right.
Do they get your phone number to text?
I was going to say no. They don't get that.
Do they get wait, like a pager number? Is that what we're gonna do?
Just hit me on the hip. You just hit me on the hip. I'll be responsive. No, for real. We could talk all year. We could do this together. Go to winnercircleproxy.com/VSiN to enter now. That's winnercircleproxy.com/VSiN. You can choose to listen to what I have to say or tell me I'm ridiculous. Go with your gut.
I'm excited. I'm also excited to learn more about this because Bill just asked me if we could do a giveaway on Friday, and I said, yeah. It's really all the details I have.
Well, we talked about it. Bill and I talked about it. I'm like, yeah, cool. I'll do it. Unless they don't want me and want somebody else to do it, I'm happy to step aside also. Doesn't have to be me.
No, you got to have
But I'm willing.
Alexander and Survivor.
I'm willing. We get tweets at Beating the Book.
That will be fun. For whoever wins that will be fun. Gil can talk about Survivor for 6 hours a day during the regular season.
Gil, I got to go have dinner with my wife. Yeah, but another thing about the Jaguars.
Another thing about the Jaguars week 8, right?
That's right.
What you really got to do is map out.
We get tweets at Beating the Book. Off in the dark about BLA. He says, BLA Shark Tank. We're talking about Big League Advance. He says, quote, "Hi, Sharks. I'm here asking for a $200,000 investment for 10% of my entire life." It's basically what it is. NJNY, New Jersey, New York, regarding Big League Advance, Big League Advance Fund, tangentially related, but in South American soccer. It was normal until 2015 for agents to own a percent of players' legal rights as a way of paying off expenses. The agents paid for youth prospects in pretty dire situations, but FIFA outlawed that in the aftermath of an FBI case. Let's see here. And Fairway Fred, as a mini tour player in the 70s and 80s, hoping we made the PGA Tour, would get their money back plus a percentage if we made money as they covered our entries and expenses. Pros that putt for pars and dogs that chase cars don't last long. Oh, speaking in riddles.
Wow.
Pros that putt for pars and dogs that chase cars don't last long, he says.
Are we supposed to know that line? Kind of like
Let's spend the next 90 minutes interpreting that. You guys can do the rest of the show.
I kind of like it.
Let's talk some baseball. Mark Borchard joins us now from an undisclosed location somewhere in the desert, courtesy of the Progressive Guest Line. You can follow him on Twitter at BaseWinner, basewinner.com. How you doing, Mark?
Gil, I'm doing really good. How's it going with you?
Doing very well. Why you look so concerned? You have a very concerned expression on your face.
I'm looking at some of these injuries for the Diamondbacks, and it's really bad. I think I've been concerned. I think it's not just a now thing. I think it's been like the last hour and a half, and I just can't believe how – and I hate to use this pun, but I will – how snake bit this team has been with injuries. It's just insane.
Corbin Carroll to the IL?
Yeah, he's out. According to RotoWire, he's out till the middle of July. They lost Burns. They lost their two of the top 5 relievers preseason for me, A.J. Puck and Martinez. And Suarez got hit in the hand with a ball yesterday. I don't think he's going to play today. And Naylor, weird swing, hurt his shoulder. He's been kind of banged up all year with different ailments. So, he's kind of I wouldn't be surprised if he goes to the IL. So they have like really like big pieces. Like they're not like, and of course Marte was out for a good month after he pulled his hamstring. So it's unfortunate for me because I got a bunch of positions on Arizona long term. So I guess that's maybe why I'm concerned. I limited my money, so I'm not going to have to pay out, get my knees knocked off. But I'm still kind of leveraged on it, like and I don't know, it's kind of like how can this happen to me? But injuries are part of the game, so you have to kind of deal with it as a handicapper.
And yes, if we could throw up the June wins market again, that gives us a chance to put that up. Diamondbacks now 1 win behind the Houston Astros. Houston Astros 14-6. They were idle yesterday. Rays at 13-7, and then it's the Brewers and the Diamondbacks, each at 12-7, along with the Red Sox, I should point out. Is that updated from yesterday? That's not updated. That's yesterday's, I believe, because I do think the Diamondbacks are up to 13 wins now. So the Diamondbacks are just 1 behind after they win 10-0 yesterday against the White Sox. So they're 13-7. So it's Astros, Rays, and Diamondbacks at the top. I asked this of Sporer yesterday. I guess I'll ask it of you too. With the Diamondbacks injuries, do you sort of say to folks, okay, regardless of what happens in June, maybe you back off them a little bit, but is there a Rays play? Like, how high are your numbers? What are your numbers on teams like the Astros and Rays long term?
Well, the Astros I have, it's actually a good question. I have to win that division. Let me see where that is, Gil. So the division, to win the division, I have them 61% of the time. The Rays really, the AL East, I actually like the Yankees to win that division, like close to 88%. So I would say there's no value on that moving forward. And they're probably depending on the pricing, there's probably not much value with Houston. So it's just, to me, it's like, yeah, I think Houston's good. I think one of the things about this June market is I took the Diamondbacks injuries out and ran it, the Monte Carlo simulations, and I think some people can bet this. I can't, like, in month betting, but this is the current probabilities. Houston actually 33% chance to have the best record in June. And then the Diamondbacks 21%, the Orioles 19%. So that's kind of how this month shakes out based on my ratings, based on Monte Carlo projections.
By the way, Yankees minus 265 to win the American League East. The Astros minus 240 to win the AL West.
Yeah, I'd lay that Yankees thing. That's a what is 90%? Minus 800, I guess.
We talked.
I don't know.
We talked moments ago about Cal Raleigh, 32 homers now through 77 games. He's 5-1 to win AL MVP. Have you done any breaking down of numbers on that? Like, is that worth a bet
against Judge? No, I mean,
yeah, I wouldn't either.
Okay, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, the guy's got his the batting average is good. I think he'll win the home run thing. Judge has these months, especially in the summer, where he goes on a run and he's not that far behind. I would bet, if you could bet the home run race, I would bet Aaron Judge right now, even though he's 4 or 5 behind.
4 behind. Yeah, and
I'd bet him.
That's why I brought it up, because there was a lot of Cal Raleigh love last night after he hit the 32nd, and I'm like, well, let's look at the slash. He's still getting dwarfed by Judge, but there is a number, right? We've decided the only way this happens, if a Raleigh ends up hitting like 65 and Judge ends up hitting 50, maybe. In that circumstance, then it's a different story. But it would have to be some kind of home run gap.
DraftKings does have this up. Judge plus 110, Raleigh plus 120 to lead in home runs in the regular season.
So they have it as almost.
I take Judge plus 110.
Wow, he says emphatically.
Shohei plus 390.
The guy's like, he's done it for years. So okay. Raleigh's good. He's exhibited some good power. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what he's produced so far, but I don't know, especially, and then he's got to go play in that hitter's just awful park. I'd be interested to see the breakdown on home versus away home runs for Raleigh. I don't know that off the top of my head, but you got to take that into consideration too. And then Judge plays at Yankee Stadium, which is a joke.
Let me ask you this. Big debut tonight. Chase Burns, the Cincinnati Reds' most exciting prospect. Everybody says this man is incredible. Being called up from AAA Louisville after excelling. He was the number 2 pick in the 2024 draft. 1.77 ERA and 13 minor league starts. What does Mark Borchard do with a player like that in his debut?
You know what I do? I use the steamer projections for these guys coming up, and I think that they do as good a job as anybody else. But I did look at it, and I thought that there might be like some potential in maybe taking a Yankee and not Judge, but another Yankee in a home run market. Because interestingly enough, Gil. Fangraphs now has college baseball stats, which I think is a new thing. And he's up there, like, I think he's 1.4, 1.3 home runs per 9. And so it begs the question, what is the average home runs per 9 in college baseball? Well, I looked it up. It's 1. It's a little bit higher than baseball. So Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, 0.73 home runs per 9 for starters. College is 1. So he's above the college average for home runs per 9. So I think he'll probably in that park, he'll probably give up a few home runs, Gil.
Okay. And do you have a side for us today before you go?
Yeah, let me give you the base winner parlay for today, Gil.
All right.
I'm going to go with Houston. Speaking of your Houston Astros, Framber Valdez, I've got this thing priced at -171. I'm going to go with the Mets plus 1.5 as a home dog. You know, there's only 8 teams, if you blanket bet them since 2022 as home dogs, that would be profitable. The Mets are one of them. So Mets plus 1.5. Put that in a parlay. It pays 2-1, Gil.
Houston money line, Mets plus 1.5. That's your base winner parlay. Thank you, Mark. Appreciate it, man.
Yo, my pleasure.
WNBA next.
Oh, look! Wow!
Look at that! Derek, what's the guarantee? Derek?
Mike, time to make history. Players in Circa Million make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries choose one team each week with no point spread. The last one standing wins it all.
We have $21 million on the line. Are you in? Visit circasports.com for details.
Your favorite VSiN shows and personalities are now available to download as podcasts. Catch every hour of our live broadcast with VSiN Best Bets, or find your go-to show and download it directly. Get instant reactions to last night's games, sharp analysis on today's biggest matchups, and everything in between. Whether you're commuting, working out, or just catching up, VSiN lets you take the action with you wherever and whenever you want. Search VSiN on your favorite podcast platform and get in on the action with VSiN, the sports betting network.
Numbers Game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Don't forget to check out the Sharp Plays. It's your daily reminder. Unmatched transparency with the records updated daily. AI betting analysis, real-time global betting information, alerts directly from the pros. SharpPlays.com. Check them out. We get tweets at Beating the Book. Y'all are the best. This is from it's from Mike Zills Duke 90. Mike Zills Duke 90.
What up, Mike?
When I win that contest Friday, let's meet at the sushi restaurant to discuss my picks. Super Jerk is in. Super Jerk says, I was not going to enter this contest sweepstakes, but now that I can get my buddy Gilly's phone number, I'm in.
Oh, my gosh. I don't want to say there's individuals I'm rooting for, but as you tweeted, I might be making a list in my mind.
Can you imagine if Super Jerk won this?
No, I think
I would enjoy every minute of it.
Me too. But I think he's laughing the same way I am right now.
I'd Super Jerk right back at him. That's what I would do. That'd be my strategy. I got some strategy for you, Super Jerk. Anyway, for those who missed it, should I repeat what it was? Because people are just tuning in.
Yeah.
This is the contest now that's run by winnercircleproxy.com and VSiN, where you can enter to win a free entry into Circa Survivor or Circa Million. Contest proxy service included by Winner Circle Proxy. $21 million, obviously, in guaranteed prizes up for grabs. Deadline to enter tomorrow night, 11:59 p.m. Eastern. Winners announced. Winners plural? Well, winners announced. I guess for each contest there's a winner?
Sure.
We don't know. Let's say we don't know if that S is correct or not, but will be announced live this Friday on A Numbers Game. And then I'll help you out all year with your contest. How about that?
I'm looking forward to this so much. Looking forward to it.
Week 8. Gil, how's that going? Oh, it's fantastic. It's a joy.
Don't worry, if you got me, you'd be bounced by week 3. So it'd be a real short relationship.
It is June, and we haven't really talked much about the WNBA.
No, we haven't.
Shame on us. And that's why we have Tyler Shoemaker joining us right now. Tyler, a VSiN betting analyst. You can follow him on Twitter at TShoeIndex. Joins us to talk WNBA card tonight and futures. How you doing, Tyler?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Sonny Crockett has joined the show today.
What a jacket. I love it.
Don Johnson as Sonny Crockett, Miami Vice. Do you know that reference? Do you ever watch Miami Vice?
I did not watch Miami Vice. I do understand the reference. No, yes. I like to dress up for you guys a little bit. I wear my white jacket. Sometimes I wear the red one, but I like the white one today.
Do we have, before we get into this stuff, do we have any new dunking videos from you? Are you dunking on 16-year-olds again? What are you doing?
I sent Kelly one a few weeks ago. I'm getting back in it. I'm back from vacation, back on the training regimen, so I'm feeling good.
Okay. If there's one thing I've learned from Tyler Shoemaker videos, don't let the man go baseline. Don't let him go baseline.
Now listen, it's fundamental basketball. Never let the guy you're guarding go baseline. Always cover the baseline.
I know what he's trying to do every time. He's just picking on these fools, looking for that crossover to make late, and then hits the baseline and drives.
Do they not teach that in basketball camp anymore?
I don't know.
Cut off the baseline. All right, Tyler, first of all, TShoeIndex. That is your Twitter handle, but it's also something you do. Explain that to folks.
Yeah, so in short, it's a tempo and opponent-adjusted rating system I use for WNBA, college football, NFL, men's and women's college basketball. So I do this year-round. Rating system has been really a work in progress over the last 7-8 years. I've really got it refined and in a good spot now, so I feel good about it.
Okay. And is the WNBA, if you had to sort of rank your sports, WNBA one of the more successful of them?
Historically, yes. I'll be honest. To start this season, it was rough. It was really tough sledding. I mean, we would have CLV on plays of 7 points and lose the bet, not even close. So it's been kind of a weird start to the season. But here, over the last 3 weeks or so, it's really starting to pick up.
Have you speculated? I mean, is there any reason to that? I mean, you're getting the best of it, right? You're getting CLV. No particular reason for it, you think? Just random?
No, I think this season in particular, there was a lot of off-season moves with some key pieces, Joel Lloyd going to the Aces, Kelsey Plum going to the Sparks, for instance. Those type of big splashy moves, and I think myself and odds makers just couldn't quite grasp, the impact of those moves. And I think the league, there's a lot more parity in the league this year, the Connecticut Sun notwithstanding. But otherwise, I mean, it's anybody can beat anybody on any given night.
All right, we have 4 games in the WNBA tonight. Lynx, Mystics, Dream Wings, Spark Sky, Fever Storm. Which way are you going on these 4?
Man, so The Wings and the Dream, I really like the over here. It opened 165.5, so I jumped on that early. I actually projected 173.5, so I would still play it at the current 169.5 right now. That's one of my better ones. And then the Sparks, I project them -10 in this game. It opened yesterday at some recreational books with the Sky as a 1.5 point favorite, and I actually had a subscriber. I had a subscriber message me like, "Is your projection wrong, or are there injuries that we don't know about? Like, what is going on?" And I checked Underdog Sports, which is a great injury resource. Didn't see anything. I played the Sparks +1.5. They're now -5.5, -6. I would still play it. That's a huge line move, but like I said, I project them -10. The Sky are terrible. They've lost 4 of their last 5 by an average of about 15 points a game. So unless they're playing the Connecticut Sun, they're awful.
Unless they're playing the Connecticut Sun, they're awful. We're talking about 2 of the worst teams in the WNBA. Sky 3-10, Sun 2-12. They're in the East. The only other team as bad, the Wings, Paige Becker's Wings, 3-12 at the bottom of the West. So that line move has essentially split the difference. You had it projected as Sparks as a double-digit favorite. It was Sky by a tick, 1.5, and now it's 5.5 in favor of the Sparks. How frequently does that kind of thing happen in the WNBA, Tyler?
I mean, like I said, we have seen some pretty big moves this year. And again, sometimes it's hard for me to gauge because of the following I've accumulated over the last few years doing WNBA. It's hard for me to gauge because of the lack of liquidity in the market. It's hard. Sometimes I'm like, okay, once I put out my projections, did I move this line, or was it moving that way anyway? So it's really hard for me to get a gauge, but we have seen some really big moves, and 95% of the time they're moving in the direction of my projections.
And by the way, for those who think that Tyler is just yapping right there, that's a very honest and perhaps valid way to think of it, because it is, when something as illiquid, non-liquid as that, you're right, you just don't know if it is in fact you with some followers doing that. Maybe it's this self-fulfilling prophecy. Or if it's the market that that exists without you as part of it. Let's go to the futures market. Those are your 2 plays tonight. No more tonight. Those are the ones?
That's right.
Okay. To the futures market to win the WNBA title. Once again, for those who have not followed this as closely and are just getting Caitlin Clark sort of info in their algorithm, record-wise, Minnesota Lynx, 12-1 atop the Western Conference. The other great teams, the Mercury's 11-4 out west, the New York Liberty and the Dream, 10-3 and 10-4, respectively, in the Eastern Conference. Liberty is the betting favorite, though, +120. Lynx +230. The Fever, though, despite being 6-7 right now, they're 5-1 behind Caitlin Clark, and then it's the Aces leading the double-digit parade at 16-1. By the way, the Aces right now 6-7 as well. So the Aces and Fever, who have 2 of the more popular teams in the WNBA right now, sort of middling through 13 games. Where's the bet here, Tyler?
Yeah, I think there are 2 that stick out there at the current odds. I think the Fever at +500. If you're going to bet them, I think now would be the time to do it, because they're coming off a couple straight losses. They haven't looked very good, but they also haven't been playing with DeWanna Bonner, who I think her impact can't be underestimated, because she's long, she can shoot the 3, she defends, she rebounds, she can get the rebound and lead the break. I think she's a really important Swiss Army knife for them, and she's been out. So I think now would be the buy time on the Fever. I think their price is going to be much more expensive as the season goes on. So I think now's the time to buy there. And then another team that jumps out to me is the Storm. I wouldn't have said that at the beginning of the season. They're playing great basketball. I've got them actually 3rd right now in the power rating. So I think getting them at 19-1, do I think they're going to win the championship? No, but I think later in the season, that number is maybe 9-1. So I think that's a great price on the Storm right now as well.
Seattle Storm, Kelly.
I like it. Tyler, I want to ask you, Liberty +120, is there a chance this is as long as we see them all year, though? I feel like I keep going back to Liberty every season for me.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly the best team, but I mean, the Jonquel Jones injury, I think, really matters, because it's an ankle injury. She came back from it, got hurt again. Now she's out 4 to 6 weeks. That would have me a little uneasy with them, because she is just such an anchor for them inside, both offensively and defensively. So yes, that might be the best price on them, but it would make, I wouldn't want to play 120 on them.
Liberty trying to go back-to-back in a league that obviously had the Aces go back-to-back before the Liberty won it this past year. Not quite the NBA itself, which, again, has had a different champion now every year since the Warriors won it back in 2019. Tyler, appreciate it very much, man. Thank you so much.
Always. Thank you, guys.
At T Shoe Index, that's like the word shoe, SHOE, at T Shoe Index on Twitter for Tyler Shoemaker and his WNBA thoughts as well. And bets, by the way. And he's right. Maybe it is him moving it sometime.
The Dream getting no respect. 10-4.
No respect.
No respect.
No respect. You make that Storm bet? Maybe.
Maybe.
Drew Dinsick on the other side. Got some grass court tennis, some Wimbledon thoughts? Next.
Introducing the $500 trifecta. Use your GBank Visa signature credit card within 3 months of account opening and deposit $100